it's frustrating. I pretty much said almost everything. That's why I switched to kind of just updating my day. Got a call from investigator this morning. Gave him some information, but my phone's hacked. Neuralink said they already gave them the link to my phone to switch directions of their investigation, so they're watching me instead of the bad guys. He said they had an FBI agent do it. I don't know, but Neuralink already invaded the FBI, so they can control their infrastructure. So they can watch my phone, and Neuralink has my screenshots and my story cut up and passed to them. And then they're kind of using me just for intelligence, using me for information. What happens is Neuralink doesn't allow them to close this case. They tell everybody, if you want to investigate this case, you have to be in the Illuminati. And just like they said a long time ago, Air Force controlled the storylines, the end storylines to big stories, big situations. Anything that could affect our economy, affect culture, or anything. So Neuralink taking over, they said they want to control the story. They want to control everything. And that's why they do it so much. Anything I say, they add a narrative to it. If you're connected to the Link phone or the Illuminati phone, or the Ultra Universe, which is all the same thing, and everything you hear coming from me, if I think something, they add a few words to it every time. They do the same thing to you guys. Anybody who sends anything, they add words to it. Since I'm not actually using it to communicate with people, you're supposed to think somebody's name and then send them a message. That's what it was a long time ago. They added a whole bunch of other stuff like the adding words and all that. They weren't doing it in the beginning. The technology's stolen, so they had to learn how to use it. But that's how they're controlling communication. They said human language is going to end in 5 to 10 years. So that's what this is. Get everybody involved in their Illuminati, which is a human trafficking extortion and sex trafficking ring. So once everybody's in the human trafficking ring, everybody's in the Illuminati, or they also call it the alternate universe. Everybody's in the alternate universe, and you have to go by the Illuminati government or alternate universe government or Neuralink government, whichever they call it at the time. I don't know which one they're going to close on. Probably alternate universe, if they could actually get this done. They also gave me the option to give up. And Elon Musk was trying to do that for quite some time. Wanted me to side with him, but wasn't really getting anything out of it except for giving up everything that I had in my life and giving up anything God was going to do for me to him. And Neuralink, of course. But in order to do that, I have to give up my ability to want to fight back. Then I would have to be willing to be involved with Asian sex trafficking. And I'd have to be able to allow kids to pleasure me without wanting to save them. But my current thought process is, as soon as I see one, even if I did brainwash myself into wanting it, as soon as I saw somebody, I would snap out of it. So it probably won't work out. So sad, because I was kind of just going with it. And I do that from time to time. If I ever do, just go up with whatever they're doing. Not like physically, but in my thoughts. They expose it as much as possible because they want to get me out there as being them, doing what they're doing. Just so they can ruin my reputation. They would make sure that's passed around. It's not really something I wanted for my reputation. But that's why they pass it around anyway. Saying I'm the one doing everything they're doing, telling people I'm out receiving blowjobs from kids when it's them. And again, they got a bunch of people saying that I'm the bad guy, telling people you have to watch my phone, watch me, and then, anybody tries to investigate, they're on them to prevent them from being able to close a case. So it's frustrating. So that leaves me with one option. But first one is to be able to go to court and prove everything. But that's assuming they don't get the judge in their Illuminati and get the judge to side with them. which would be the same thing. Corner the judge, get him sexually intimate with a child, and then blackmail him. And most people, just like it says in CIA projects, when you research it, people are too afraid to talk about the things, or embarrassed. They don't want to be embarrassed, so they don't talk about the things that they've done. I mean, you got Neuralink and you're scaring you too. But my other option is to try to go viral, get the information out. I'll try to do that. These platforms are set up now to where you gotta pay for it, and with them holding me back, stopping me from making any money, that's kind of tough. I got a YouTube channel with more information than anybody that's accurate. So like conspiracy theories, you have a bunch of people have a bunch of different information, but they go by a lot of the things that the Klan wrote, and it's mixed into what they have. So just like right now, where they have the kids or they have the pedophile club members telling people, giving out anything I come up with to water it down, kill my influence. If I walk up to somebody and try to talk to them about it, they're going to know some of it already. Or at least won't talk to me because they're in the anti-Daryon Illuminati, or anti-Savior Illuminati, as they said. So they put everything out there and they add to it. So whenever they tell them, they add misinformation to it to make sure nothing's accurate. But mine's pretty accurate. My Instagram, Twitter, I guess I have some stuff on Snapchat, not as much because it's not the same kind of platform. But Facebook's really accurate. I don't want to tell you what my Facebook is, though. I'm going to tell you why it's accurate. Facebook has accurate information about the beginning and the psychology of the people who went through this. And then I moved all my quotes from Twitter over to Facebook. So I do the quotes on there, and I analyze the quotes, and I give a summary of it. And it breaks down a lot of different things they don't want out. Basically, the whole story. They want the whole story out. So they attack you even more if you know the whole story, because it's embarrassing. When you know, basically, I was dominant in my mind and in real life, and they all had to get together to stop me, prevent me from being successful. They said, you can't just be good at everything and think we can't do anything about it. And that's the thought process that the Klan has instilled inside of America, right? Same reason why we attack China. We're trying to start to progress, start to do well. You got to attack them, because that means they're going after us or attacking us because they're trying to be good at what they do. Same thing with Germany, Hitler. That's the reason why they attacked him. He had the economic plan of the future, and as I said, it didn't benefit the central banking system, because he wanted to move away from their currency, just like they're doing right now with China and a bunch of other countries. So for that reason, and behind the scenes, it was Great Britain that was doing it back then. They're the ones who were telling America, this is what we want, this is what we need. And it's been that still to a certain point, except they would have people inside, like the Air Force, Army, who they would tell what they wanted. But like I said, while they're robbing me for being too intelligent, too resourceful, while being black, and too much support while being black, Neuralink took over the entire system, and basically they're the ones giving the no. So, as I said once again plenty of times, Great Britain sent the Klan over here to enslave America because we succeeded from them, and they didn't want us gone. Right, so the Klan came over here to enslave us. They started the Illuminati, extortion, sex trafficking ring, or expanded it over here, got leaders involved with it, and once again, once you're in the Illuminati, you have to go by a certain set of rules. And with the Illuminati representing evil, you're not allowed to be progressive. I don't want to use the word progressive and see it as the same way a lot of other people do it, because you have words like that, phrases like that, and they change the meaning of it. Like go woke, go broke. They want to make it seem like going woke is something that's not, right? It's anybody who's enlightened, anybody who has logic and common sense of being woke. You're not being stuck in this psychological slavery, right? You've woken up from it. So if you're woke, you go broke. They break all your resources. I want more people to know about it. Wake them up and let them know what's really going on. They're talking about, they're specifically talking about Nolan, but like them not really understanding, them doing whatever they're told, whether it's by CJ or by Neuralink or with Tydo or whoever Neuralink tells me I have to listen to. They don't understand that I broke down the structure and this is human trafficking, and they're not supposed to be involved with it. You shouldn't have to be somebody's bitch. And I mean, when somebody comes to save you and you're conscious of it, at some point you gotta take a risk, right? They say, okay, well, this is gonna happen or this is gonna happen. At some point you gotta take a risk, like risk versus reward. If you're not willing to take a risk, you're not gonna get anything. Willing to take a risk, and the more risk you're willing to take, the bigger the reward is. I mean, that's not just on like a good side, it's on the bad side too. Somebody robs a bank, you're taking a huge risk of losing your freedom, right? And then with them, they get a reward, possibly, if they get away with it. I mean, then there comes the instant gratification, delayed gratification. That's instant gratification. So even with that, if you do get caught up, and you know, a lot of times it's possible because there's cameras, there's people outside, there's that button that they get to press when you walk in. You know, it's an evil decision. So instant gratifications are evil decisions, evil gratification. But risk versus reward, right? So you want to get free from something, you want your freedom back, you got to be willing to take a risk sometimes. Especially when you're approached by the only person actively trying to save you that knows what's going on. I'm the only one that they can't kill without losing everything. You know, they've threatened to kill the president, right? They've made a bunch of threats. And there's people who are dead already. But I would have to submit to get in their Illuminati. If they even take me, they probably wouldn't, because, you know, eventually I would wake up and I wouldn't, well, they're punishing somebody. They just made me feel a sharp pain in my anus, so I mean somebody's getting sodomized from me giving this information out. So I'll stop. Be careful. Again, I'm at 523. Well, I actually moved to the back, so 521 now. West 55th Street in Los Angeles. 521 West 55th Street in Los Angeles, California. Vigo doesn't want you to know he's going through this and not submit to not being famous. So you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop posting for a minute. Let's see if they change it up. See if anything changes. I remember I got this playing in my head 24/7. Okay, I'm stopped. Problems with me trying to go viral or going through the court system is that I have to keep telling the story. People have died while I was writing, which sucks because it's like, damn, so since nothing's happened, I could have not written out everything and saved lives. Neuralink was getting upset when I was locked up and just write everything and then send them out to a police station or the FBI. But like I said yesterday, my level of extortion is they're holding everybody hostage, and I'm being extorted for the story because Neuralink wants to control it. He said they want to look cool. And they want me to look inferior to everybody. They don't really want me to write what really happened. Can't like sit there and write out everything, whether I'm writing a report out to send to a police station. I mean, because then they just invade them. Because as I said before, you can't go to a police station and say this is what's going on. I need help. I need you to investigate, and I need to be there because they're going to do everything they can to manipulate you into not helping, right? It doesn't work like that. As you saw with the video the other day when I went into LAPD. I can't go to the FBI office and ask to speak to an agent and have them actually give me an agent, right? It would be, at best, me writing out a report and giving it to them and them giving it to somebody else, right? But that's why it's frustrating. That's why it's really frustrating. And no matter what, after I write it, they're attacking whoever I send it to. As I said, they're going to attack everybody. They're not going to sit back and just let somebody investigate. The only way to really get it done is for me to write it, me put it out there, and they say don't mention Westminster did anything wrong, or they say don't mention Neuralink, don't mention Elon Musk, or sometimes it varies depending on what I mention. But if I do that, you know, it leaves the other side, the defendants, their attorneys to be able to pick through everything, and then anything I don't mention, they create a storyline around it based off of everything else, and they listen to my thoughts. They know I'm gonna counter everything. So I mean, even with that, if I take them to court, I got to be able to come up with everything on the fly, or else they prepare for it. Or while I'm doing it, they'll have artificial intelligence inside of me listening, and then calculating everything, and then doing the same thing, lying, creating a storyline off of everything. Like as I'm thinking, right? Every time I'm thinking, Neuralink is putting out whatever thoughts I have as somebody else, right? And I'll say something, and then it changes the words, right? It changes the words right away as I'm thinking, right? That's how advanced the technology is, and you know they're doing this to everybody now. Well, not everybody, but they're passing it on to a lot of people. You see, Congress they had a contract for satellite phones. That's Elon Musk. All the advanced artificial intelligence, all Elon Musk. And that's why he posted that artificial intelligence in the hands of a ruthless monopoly, right? And ruthless means that he doesn't give a fuck and he's evil, right? That's what ruthless means, right? So like he's telling everybody that what he's doing out loud, but nobody sees through it because you know they've been doing this for years, for a long time. Bring this up because that's just what it is. The same protocol is used every time, whether it's CoIntelPro, whether it's going to war, some overseas conflict, overthrowing somebody else's government because they're nice to their people or because they're progressing their economy, or a business that doesn't let you extort it. That group, that clan group that was in the military was doing it. Now, once again, Elon Musk and Neuralink. They take people who are close to you, use them to funnel in anybody else who wants to be on your side. So like they got some of the kids that are in my program initially to switch sides, and then use them. They told them that nobody else is on my side, then use them to actually bring in everybody who was on my side. And you know, as that group that was on my side is still there, they bring people in, and you know those people are killed. And it's kind of like the Manson family. The Manson family got blamed for all the murders. They were robbing Charles Manson, and again, the Klan has FBI agents, Secret Service agents, military personnel who are in the Illuminati, and they go to a city and they get police officers to help out, and they set up everybody else to take the fall for everything that they've done. But they never had anybody like kind of outline every single thing and put it out there. They were going to try to blame me for everything, like they did with Hitler. Said he's the one that was doing everything that they set up. You can easily go on Wikipedia or other websites and see that CIA was out there recruiting people to start the Holocaust. Information Act got a lot of that information released, whether it be that or whether it be CoIntelPro, and you can see all that corruption. It's all outlined. So everything that I'm going through, everything we're going through, for the most part, they always leave out the sex trafficking. It's always left out. So you have to look at it because they do put some sign of it, just like with before they used the CIA when they had the Klan go in and rob and rape everybody. This was the exact same thing. They started a sex trafficking ring. There were sex trafficking people who were witnesses, and they go around. They get everybody to be CIA operatives. Anybody who wants to help out, or anybody they get to help out. Like with this situation, they went for anybody who wanted to help dethrone me because I had too much influence. They got basketball coaches who were jealous of me. They all knew me because like kids talked about me and they didn't like that. Then, you know, anybody who helped with that part has to be involved with the sex trafficking part because they have to extort you to get you to not say anything about what they're doing. And they don't leave. They stay in the area. They continue to rape people. They sit here. That's why this investigation, as they called it, for 4 years, right? You know, investigate somebody for 4 years, and then have all this stuff happen, and you have no idea what's going on. So just like Hitler, they said Hitler hated the Jews. They said I hated Asians. And it's the same protocol, used over and over again. But I'm gonna stop talking about it. Like I said, well, I don't know. Actually, no, I can't, because I just walked to 7-Eleven and I had the feeling of the sharp pain in my stomach, meaning that they stabbed somebody. No telling how many people are dead from this. It's sad. So sad is there's so much evidence of everything that's going on, and the case can't get closed. I mean, they've been doing this extortion, sex trafficking ring thing with investigators for centuries, right? Or decades. I don't know if the Klan just killed people or just scared them, but the CIA projects, Operation Midnight Climax, MKUltra, you look it up. It says it, extortion, sex trafficking ring versus blackmail and sex trafficking ring, one of the two. But they've been able to get away with doing this forever, and since they have law enforcement who've gone bad, since they have federal agents who went bad, you know, they're willing to continue to help cover it up to prevent themselves from getting in trouble or to keep the sex trafficking ring going. Question came up through Neuralink, somebody else's thoughts as they watched my story. Why would you even think about being a human trafficker? I had to do it. I've had to do it a number of times. There's been situations they say, if you don't masturbate to this person, we're going to kill him. There are people who are dead because I refuse to do it. That hurts. I had to change my entire thought process because it's the only way they would let me even get close to anybody who needed my help. But even with that, they still know, like, I'll snap out of it and want to save them. So, like the one kid, Richard Fan, the one where I have the message where it says he's making me suck Tydo's dick, where I had to change my thought process to make it seem like that's what I wanted. But they still didn't let me get close to him. And like when I actually got to his house, they killed the communication because they knew where my mind really was. And then he was the one, he was trying to actually get in touch with me. I didn't think, I mean, it was late at night, so I didn't want to go knock on the door and say this is what it is. But looking back, now that he's dead, that probably would have been the best bet. But, you know, he didn't want to listen to them, but he listened to them one more time, got in the wrong vehicle, and that's what it was. Because they knew I wanted to save him, they knew I was coming for him. Parked outside of his house. I tried. I didn't try hard enough. I tried. And Vigo were the two that stayed with me the longest when they were coming through and getting people to leave me one at a time, or ever. I mean, they got Darren when he went over to Westminster, told him he had to turn against me to play basketball there, so he helped them, helped manipulate the kids. They got to Keem early, but Keem didn't necessarily want to leave at all, but didn't know who to trust. And again, they create these groups to go against us. They create an anti-Bollidsy, if you look it up on Instagram. It was a harassment page, basically. And they're trying to make the kids look bad, just try to make them, get to them to the point to where they wouldn't want to be involved with Bollidsy. But Richard didn't want to leave. He didn't want to believe. But Secret Service agent told Tydo that Richard and Vigo were his sex slaves as his reward for what he was doing, helping them. And, you know, I couldn't go to the police and say, this is what happened. When I went to the police station, Westminster, they just took the information, but how it works is Neuralink's monitoring me 24/7. They'll have one of the officers that's involved come out and take the information. There was a guy with a patch, eye patch. He took the information, so obviously nothing happened. Neuralink's controlling that. I do remember on the link phone through Neuralink, there was an officer who said to contact Westminster PD at the time, and a Secret Service agent picked him up. But how that works is, if there's ever an officer in there saying it, that's because they're being held hostage by Neuralink, or may not know they're being held hostage yet. and they're told they have to change their thought process from being the good guy to being the bad guy. They're not allowed to leave, and they're forced to be sexually intimate with one of the kids at the same time until their thought process changes. There's been plenty of officers, whether it's Huntington Beach, even LAPD, FBI agents, who say you come down and tell us what's going on. Or remember the initial LAPD officer who was here 4 years ago when this started. They got anybody I contacted, they went after. Said call over and over again, or they say go into the department, and it's like when you get there, when you call, it's not the same people, and this is an out there story. So it's hard to get them to just listen and say, okay, we're going to handle it and get it done like right away. And this is a right away emergency situation, because people's lives are on the line, and it is the human trafficking or child sex trafficking industry that goes around starting new trafficking rings all over the place. So you can save a lot of kids, a lot of people by ending corruption in this situation. Unless it came from the Klan operatives in the beginning, it's come from Neuralink. So when you have FBI agents who have the entire case, pretty much, they've gotten to the point to where they've even seen the text messages within Neuralink to know that they're doing everything I'm telling you that they're doing. Or Elon Musk's text messages, they've gone all the way to his text messages back to England. So it's all there. But when you have them saying, "Oh, we don't want it to be like that. We don't want this narrative out," that's coming from everybody who's been taken in by the Illuminati or Neuralink or Elon's Illuminati, the new Illuminati. Sorry, that's the narrative. Elon Musk or Neuralink wants to control the narrative to everything, every situation. They say we can't do them like that. We can't put it out there like that. That's Neuralink, because they're the ones that are trying to cover it up. Question to me being able to wake up after putting myself in the thought process, like I want to just go through with it. I love kids. I've been working with kids for a long time. Most of the people who are involved with this aren't or don't or haven't. I was into the developmental business, youth developmental, teaching them. Again, I had actualization classes, had the tutoring, had the business development learning as well. So I enjoyed watching them develop, and I understand psychology quite a bit. So it would pain me to see them to go through anything. So if I was in that situation, I would look at them and say I wouldn't go through with this. That's how that works. These for my kids, not literally, obviously, but they were in my basketball program. I had relationships with them. Even though you got people who come in, you can't have relationships with kids. You can't have them as followers on the internet or friends on the internet. You can. There's no law against it. It's not even uncommon. It's common for most basketball trainers, coaches, to have a platform or have an account where they have followers. I had followers who were kids, were all over the world, whether it was Switzerland or Ireland or Germany or where else, a bunch of countries, and states, Boston, Dallas, and I'm in California, who watch my stories, who learn from everything that I was posting. So that was who I was. CoIntelPro, the goals of CoIntelPro, to prevent the coalition of a black militant group that would rise up and create an army of people willing to fight. So basically, if you go against the Klan, you're the aggressor. Just like as I said before. When they spoke about when the war in Afghanistan first started, right? They talked about how they had kids with guns. That's kids trying to help defend their people, defend their country against human traffickers or people coming in to rob them. So just like you had groups like the Crips or the Bloods, when they start these groups, and their thought process were protecting the community against the Klan who are coming in, robbing, raping, and killing people. They don't want that thing going against the Klan and their ideology of evil. You're a terrorist. They called us terrorists. They said Bollocks was a terrorist organization in the beginning because I was enlightening Asians, preaching enlightening. And not just that, but I mean on my social accounts as well. And I'm not the only person doing it, but I'm the only one who had a $1 billion outline for their company and was teaching the kids, the high school kids, how to develop their own businesses, and was going to have different segments of Bollocks and have them run it. They said we couldn't have a family-owned business. You can't have Asian family. We were going to be close. We were going to be working together. Everybody was going to, once again, have their own, when it came to Bollocks Digital, have Bollocks Music, Bollocks Entertainment Center, stuff like that, where they would be control of their own, pretty much web design service. Under Darion, they would have had the intelligence of gods and would replace white people. So that is the great white replacement, right? To where another race rises up and successful, and then these guys are saying, you know, they're here to take our place, so they're terrorists. And like I spoke of earlier, where you don't want Russia's economy to do better than yours, you didn't want Germany's economy to do better than yours, you don't want China's economy to do better than yours, because that's an attack. Now that's why they said on me, you can't be better than everybody, you can't do anything about it. Say do anything about it like I'm the bad guy, and I'm not. I'm the one who was trying to help. I'm the one who was trying to be not only educational but progressive in the terms of knowledge and business development and in the basketball industry as well. You know, that's why they said if nobody else is doing it, you can't do it. That's the Klan's thought process when it comes to monitoring other people's businesses. It was preventing a Messiah. Messiah is a savior, somebody saving a group of people, right? And that's what that would have been like, because we would have been enlightening. And my Instagram account was growing, so it's going to have more people follow me, of course, which would have grew my Snapchat account as well. And they said I can't build a business like this in front of people, because if you're growing up and you're watching me do it, and you're in line to get a degree, a bachelor's degree, associate's degree, or even a master's degree, and you end up in a situation where you're making $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 a year, and you say, okay, well, I just watched him do this, so I can do something like that, and you're going to progress, and that is a threat to the people who the Klan is already extorting, right? All their businesses that they're making money off of, and they don't want to lose their source of income. When they say that you're a martyr because you're too intelligent, and they go after you, they go after the people you've influenced, you have to be that person to save everybody, just like Jesus in his situation, like I said earlier. When he said you had to have faith in him, you had to listen to what he was saying, and we're in the same situation. I just didn't give people orders on how to handle the situation in the beginning, because I didn't see through everything. Well, I didn't know everything. I saw through it. I said the first day it was a CoIntelPro invasion. I just kind of knew. It says prevent violence, just like Malcolm X and myself as well. You know, they started getting guns themselves, and then, okay, everybody attacks the gun laws. And, okay, we can't have people with guns out now. They didn't want them to be able to fight back, right? It's a constitutional right to be able to bear arms, Second Amendment, but when it comes to fighting back against the Klan and their attacks, and then the people who they employ or become Klan operatives or CIA operatives or Illuminati agents or Illuminati officers or Klan militias, they don't want you to be able to fight back against these guys and all the attacks they throw at you. So just like with me being 5150, so I can't get a firearm, or having my BB gun or pellet gun or air gun, whatever you want to call it, taken away, so I can't do anything, or have my phones and laptop confiscated, same thing. They don't want me to be able to fight back. What we're seeing and what we're enduring is an advanced version of what they used to do, right? And this is how they cover up everything, they hide everything. And number four, they wanted to stop them from gaining credibility, right? So I'm the same way. They follow behind me, and that's what CoIntelPro does, right? They follow behind you. You contact somebody, they contact them. You meet somebody, they contact them. And they, once again, you have to go by this narrative that the Klan has made for you. The Army started doing that to me first. They call it the worst person in the world, which is what they're trying to do to me. Made me look like I hated everybody, like I was a bad person, doing everything they could do to anger me. And I say something, all right, we take that out of his phone, let's use that. And then with thoughts as well, pass that around. And that's number four. That's what they do. This is a Klan operation. And with CoIntelPro, it says that they're actually investigating the Klan, right? We'll have the Klan investigating the Klan. They call it making sacrifices. So just like when people blame the CIA for everything, you saw a while back, it said CIA employee arrested for some pedophilic reason. That's called making a sacrifice, right? Because if everybody thinks they do it, okay, well, let's get rid of one person. Or, I mean, if the Klan ends up growing to millions of members or hundreds of thousands of members, and then you have 2 or 3 that are arrested, they're not gone, right? Or if you have that pyramid, just like this situation, just like the human trafficking situation, where you have the people who are going from city to city starting human trafficking rings, they get somebody to be the leader, get somebody to work under them, get somebody to transportation, to whatever, and you go and you arrest 5 or 6 people, you don't get the people on top. It's the same situation. It's a sacrifice. See, number 5 is preventing long-term growth, and that's them taking what you're doing, having somebody else replicate it, and stopping you from having influence, stopping you from growing. It says especially amongst youth, right? That's where the child sex trafficking comes in, right? And once again, it's not just the FBI. Secret Service do it as well. They keep their name out of it, and other federal agents. It depends. If you're investigating something and they have the ability to make money off of it, they're going to go to you. And you can see from this situation, it's the same thing with police officers, right? Or actually, I guess Westminster had the Secret Service agent who was telling them what to do. So that's the CoIntelPro breakdown. As I said before, military, federal law enforcement, local law enforcement. Then they get the civilians that are willing to help out as well inside the country. And that is the foundation of the child sex trafficking industry. That sucks that's what. That's also why some people who are watching my phone, they're watching from the Illuminati vision, as they've called it, on the Darion show, where they're streaming my phone or cutting up my stories and editing them and then showing people on the other side, stopping me from having influence. Now, all the information I just gave you right now associated with the website post that I just did, that was from the City University of New York. But they're not the only ones that know. You go to some pretty known newspapers and colleges, they all have this information out on the internet. All of it. Here's a link if you want to check it out. That the main difference between this situation and that of Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, they made a push, right? And not just that, these guys are also behind the scenes controlling their image. As you allow somebody on a big stage, and then you use that to kill his influence. Just like with Alex Jones, right? He had all these what they call conspiracy theories. Some of it is on the line of what I was saying as well. He talks about the government being involved with child sex trafficking. You have the whistleblower that just came out and said the same thing, right? And then the ruined reputations, attacking people's lives. You have the FBI with whistleblowers who came out and said that in Congress just a few weeks ago. But the difference with me is I didn't get a chance to actually blow up. They said they didn't want to have to compete with me on a big stage because, as I told them, I'll eat you guys alive. Nobody's going to be able to just do that. And they would have to actually cut up everything. And that's why they don't want people to know I even exist, right? Because all you have to do is go to my Twitter and actually read it. Go to my YouTube and watch videos. I don't have that much evidence on YouTube, but I have evidence all over Twitter, evidence all over my Instagram, and then I have it on Facebook as well. Right, so they don't want people to even see me. Right, with the other guys, they wanted to bring them out and then try to discredit them. It's like they said they didn't want me to be a celebrity because they don't want me to get big, and it's time for them to take me out because I have too much influence. And then they won't. aren't able to do it because I see through everything they're doing and I'm countering it, right? That's the way they went by. They always had like a protocol. They don't just go and just kill you. They do the whole subliminal thing, and they go through all these different stages to try to kill your influence. But they wouldn't have been able to do it with me, and especially if I would have got my business out, because I understand how to weaponize my business to go against people like this, which most people don't. Thing like this, the last one especially, I don't want you to see it as FBI. I want you to see it as FBI, Secret Service, U.S. Army, U.S. Air Force. And there's been some, well, those were the ones who were involved with this situation, so I'm going to stick with just those. As they've said, like on the last document, that is preventing or protecting national security, but as they've said to me, my story would destroy the fabric of America. Now, I was watching some flashbacks from wrestling, right? Now, you had this group called WWF, the group called the Nation of Domination. Now, The Rock was in that group, and he was one of the most hated people in the world, right? All the fans would boom every time he came out. But the moment he turned on them, everybody cheered. He made fun of them, and they cheered, right? They loved him. Why is that? At that time, racism was still extremely prevalent, especially in the fan base. But that's where his name came from. That's where he got the adornment of the fans, because he turned on that group. So if you go out there and you try to change too quickly, as I'm sure you know, people react. People who don't understand progression as well as most, they'll react with violence. With violence, but with barbaricisms, right? So you remember there was a documentary that talked about, hey, he used to get hate mail to his house. People said they wanted to kill him because he was with that Nation of Domination, right? But once he left, it changed. So that's what they talk about. But we're not actually in that time period. It's just the people who were doing that. At first, they had outdated thought process. But now it's more along the lines, they're just trying to cover it up, and they're using every excuse in the book to keep this thing going. Neuralink says they don't want to get caught. Elon Musk doesn't want to get caught. Now especially, there was one point where he said he gave up. He would just go live on an island and just say forget it. But that's Neuralink kept him going. Neuralink kept him pushing. They stopped giving him accurate information of what was going on. Basically, made him feel like he was already in charge, already controlling the world, king of the world. But Neuralink is really doing stuff to stop him from getting. The Nation of Domination also got Owen Hart, right? Owen Hart joined the Nation of Domination. Owen Hart was white. So it's not always just the blacks, right? But Owen Hart said, I'm going to represent the Nation of Domination. I want to support them, right? He joined them, and shortly after, he died, right? He started getting booed. He went from being cheered to being booed. Then he died. He fell from the top. He was being lowered down, and he fell and died. The Klan will invade your business because if you have a large viewing, and wrestling at the time was one of the biggest things in the world, right? So that's how they are. They want to be in everybody's business. The Klan was created to preserve white supremacy. That's what it is. That's why they said I had to sacrifice my life for white supremacy and Elon Musk to be successful.